What's going on, everybody? My name is Kevin Ryan, and welcome to this week's episode of Screenshot Saturday, where I pull 5 titles out from the masses to highlight right here on this show. Without further ado, let's get right into our first game. We've seen a little bit of an uptick lately in titles trying to emulate Zelda, particularly the Wind Waker, with some notable successes, such as 2015's Oceanhorn Monster of Uncharted Seas. Entering their title into the mix is developer Xene's adventure about a young girl with the power to localize various seasons around her. It's got the looks and the personality, but what's captivating is the clever ways in which it makes use of the protagonist's ability to create seasons around her, to solve puzzles and combat enemies. Enemies whom, by the way, react hilariously to suddenly finding themselves in the midst of a hot summer, despite dressing for cold winter. Taking a sharp turn now away from the magical and whimsical, we have Stay, developed by Abnormals. Exact details regarding this one are hard to come by. Promotional footage has been somewhat ambiguous on the nature of the gameplay, but to be honest, what drew me in was the strikingly emotional performance of its actor, slumped in his chair and staring hopelessly at his computer. Abnormal says it's a choose-your-own-adventure game, with the most important factors being your time and presence. In lieu of that, if I had to make a guess, I'd say that the player's job is to keep the poor guy company, helping however they can from their place on the other end of the conversation, lest he finally succumbs to his depression and commits suicide. No matter the art style, games are a medium through which incredibly powerful stories can be told, and Stay looks poised to offer a deeper examination of our innate desire for companionship amidst tough times, and how that desire can place strain on those around us. Developer Deeper Magic is hard at work at a game that examines causality and death. You play as Stuart, a bumbling software developer who stumbles inside the Albatross research facility, and subsequently upon a device that lets him travel between the present of 1984 and the distant future where, quote, things are decidedly worse than in 1984. Now, Stuart will have to combine his newfound ability to time travel with what one hopes is a firm understanding of causality in order to escape. Time travel is nothing new, but I like the emphasis on cause and effect here. Putting your hero at risk because something as simple as a road might not be there years later is a premise that opens up new avenues of puzzle solving, challenging the player to think about where they are before thinking about when they are. Given the game's tagline, Albatross seems like it'll offer up plenty of trial and error gameplay, but hopefully in a way that's fun rather than frustrating. Mography's Jenny Leclue tells the story of a young detective and her adventure to clear the name of her mother, who's been accused of murder. Developer Mography is really embracing the detective aspect here, promising that the player will be allowed a sizable amount of interactivity as they search for clues. Taking a page from Rockstar's LA Noire, for example, the player will be able to move the camera during dialogue scenes, so as to better examine the subject and look for cues that may indicate truth or a lie. There's quite the variety of locales to visit within the fictional town of Arthurton as well, such as abandoned mines, the forgotten graveyard, the Misty Mountains, the old observatory, the police station, the shops and eateries on Main Street, and Gumboldt University's library. The game enjoyed a successful Kickstarter back in 2014, which funded Volume 1 of what the developers intend to be a 3-volume story. Volume 1 is set to launch this year. We're ending on a simple note today with the abstract platformer Semblance in development by Nyemakop. There's some obvious Meat Boy inspirations here, but the rub lies in the player's ability to sculpt the Play-Doh world in order to navigate it. What interests me isn't just the premise, but the possibilities that it brings to the table, and I'm rather intrigued to discover how encompassing the player's ability to mold the world is, since there's potential here for some emergent gameplay experiences with regards to how one player arrives at a solution versus another player. Before I go, I have one honorable mention, and it comes to us courtesy of Joel Herber, developer at Sofa Squadron, and his team of participants in this year's Global Game Jam. Here's a small sample of Top Trumps, a game about who can yell louder. I'll see you next week.